real human need. It applies to everyone. So we tend to focus on those kinds of problems, and that's what drives this.
Yeah, you've been talking lately a lot about machine learning and AI. AI was talked about even 25 years ago when I was at IIT and when you were at IIT. What has changed in the last 2 or 3 years? Why has AI become suddenly, and machine learning suddenly become the new buzzword?
I mean, I think the biggest advances you're seeing is largely due to two things. The techniques which we use in deep learning, deep neural networks, have been around for many years. But early on, they weren't that effective because you just didn't have the computational power to run these algorithms. Just for the past many years, the computational power has dramatically increased. So when you run deep learning on the latest computation, and with access to better data, you get dramatic breakthroughs. So for example, we recently launched Google Translate, and this is machine translation, and using our deep learning systems, the translation quality improvements just in the last year is bigger than what we've seen in the past 10 years cumulatively.
Wow.
So it tells us that the ability for computers to do these kinds of tasks, be it image recognition, speech recognition, voice recognition, it's really hitting a tipping point. So I think we are definitely in a point of inflection, and we are investing a lot as a company here. And I can't wait to get these benefits to as many users as possible. I think it'll really drive the next wave of computing.
Excellent. You were in Bangalore. You met startups in Bangalore. And I heard you say that there's nothing really missing as far as startups in India go. They're as good as startups elsewhere in the world. But there's one thing which sort of, we also invest in startups and we face this problem as well ourselves as a company, that the Indian market is not large enough to invest a lot in technology. So, so how do you, in a situation like this, compete with MNCs which have large investments in technology?
No, I think it's a good question. I think part of the problem is in India, the potential is there and the market is developing. I think it'll take a few more years for it to fully realize the potential. For all its potential, we get excited about smartphones, but we are talking a number of 300 million in a country of 1.3 billion people.
Yeah.
And not all of them have good connectivity as well. So I think the digital market is still developing. And so that's the problem you run into. And so as companies getting built here, it's difficult to scale across India and reach that full potential, which gives you the resources to go compete internationally. But I think it's just a moment in time. Hopefully Indian companies are more thoughtful about, when they build stuff, also targeting similar areas like Vietnam and Indonesia and Thailand. I think those markets are developed, and and the same products would work in those markets as well. So I think they need to set their sights a bit bigger. But it's a good question. But I think the trend lines are strongly in the favor. I think every year I can see the rate at which things are changing. Yeah. So in about 3 to 4 years, I'm pretty convinced, at least in a 5 to 10 year time frame, that there will be big global, software companies coming out of India, and we will be very used to it.
So when these guys graduate and when they want to build the next Google, they should build for the international market as well, and not just for the Indian market?
Yeah, I would aim big, and I definitely think you can build from India, and we see that at Google, increasingly there are things which we think about building for the Indian market, but which we think will apply globally.
So we are here sitting at IIT Kharagpur, and technology, as we know, is disrupting everything.
It's learning to let go and really empowering people, at all levels of the organization, and trusting them to doing the right thing. And as a leader, a lot of your job is to make those people successful. It's less about trying to be successful and more about making sure you have good people. And your work is to remove barriers, remove roadblocks for them, so that they can be successful in what they do. And so that's how I've always thought about it. And I've also valued, teamwork quite a bit. And I think it's really important to build organizations where people actually want to work together. Yeah. Everything comes out of that. So setting up collaborative cultures is another big thing I try to focus on.
So it's not about one person, it's about the team.
That's right. Yeah.
And if your team succeeds, you also succeed with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great. So let's get some questions from the students. Arundhati Banerjee.
Google is having...
So what are some of the tips that you would like to share with students out here?
I think I kind of answered it earlier. I would really encourage people to, I think there's a lot of pressure in today's system. I get surprised people start preparing for IIT.
We won't put you in the hot. We'll put you in the hot seat, but we won't ask you very tough questions.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, but in the interest of time. Okay, the next one is from me. Who's your favorite Bollywood actress?
Changed not only for me but also for my parents, how all the perspectives got changed slowly, steadily. I was in a joint family. In a joint family, nobody gets no children, no child gets a separate attention. In first semester, I topped not only my college but I topped the whole university, and I got chancellor scholarship for that. That day I had this belief that if you really want to achieve something, anyhow, you do not have any means, because when I wanted to improve my English, I was not able to take coaching, and I was not having any English medium friend, so I was totally unarmed. But I do not know how the universe conspired, and I finally was able to give a TED talk even in this platform. Well, the college passed, and I completed my college when I was 20 and half, so you need 21 years as minimum age for UPSC exam. So meanwhile, I wrote GATE exam, ISRO exam, BARC exam, SAIL exam, MPPSC exam, and after 6 months, I wrote IES exam. And my dear friends, I qualified all of them. When the first call letter that I got, that was from Bhabha Atomic Research Center, Department of Atomic Energy, Mumbai. So I was very excited. Okay, I'm going to give this highly, touted as one of the most toughest interview of India. So I was about to appear in that interview. I consulted some of my seniors about how it can be, how should I prepare for it. All I got was negative feedback. See, Surabhi, in whole of our life, we have never seen anybody qualifying that interview. Okay, you want to go to Mumbai for fun, then go, but don't have this expectation that you're going to do anything there. Well, all this negativity, I appeared in interview. And I was the first scientist to whom I was knowing is a scientist in my life. So I qualified that interview, and I shifted to Mumbai, and I became a nuclear scientist. Well, I wrote IES exam meanwhile, and it takes 1 year for the results to come. After 1 year, the result came. And I was AIR 1, not from any IIT, not from any NIT, I was from UIT, and I taught.
And then they said, okay, you'll have monthly 5 to 6 days of shoot. So how will that money be even sufficient? So then I asked my mom, why is this other actors who are in this serial, like the main leads and all, are getting 20,000 rupees, 25,000 rupees? How is it even possible? So my mom said, you have to do movies for that, so you'll get like bigger money. If you act in movies, if your movies are good, if you get recognized, then you'll get more money. So then I started trying for movies. Before that, I was into dance reality show, Manada Mailada. I won the title there. So with that certificate or presentation, I was like, small role, it's not the main lead. Then people started recognizing me. Then I did Panyaru Batni, then I did Rami, then I did Thirudan Police, like a main lead types. And then what changed my life is this one film called Kaka Mutta. Okay. So it is actually a mother role for 2 children. A slums, and I was like, how is it even possible then? And then we get, like, we have a 2-bedroom apartment, we dream for 3-bedroom, and then a bungalow. And then we have item, then we go for some other, like BMW, Audi or something like that. But they were very happy with whatever they had. So that surprised me.